Hi everyone, it's Sherry from the blog OurLifeHomeschooling.com, where I share homeschooling encouragement for everyday moms. As a homeschool mom, you know in your heart of hearts that you have made a decision that is good for you and for your kids. But it's not easy, and sometimes you can feel alone and isolated because you're not doing something that is mainstream. I want to talk to you today and remind you that you are not alone. If you're new to my channel, my name is Sherry. I am a homeschooling mom to 10 kids. I'm married to my high school sweetheart, Nelson. We've been married for 23 years. I'm a former public school teacher turned homeschool mom. I love encouraging other moms on my YouTube channel and on the blog, OurLifeHomeschooling.com. If you like the content that you see on my channel, would you do me a favor and hit that subscribe button? Before I get started today, I wanted to let some of you know, some of you follow me on Facebook. I've had some difficulty on Facebook with my content being erased. So if you search my Facebook page, everything from the last year is just not there. I don't know if it's censorship or if it's just some kind of tech problem. I have reached out to Facebook and contacted them about the problem, and I'm just waiting to hear back from them. But until then, if you don't want to miss any of the content that I am sharing with everyone, you can sign up for my weekly emails on the blog. You can also find me on Instagram. I haven't had any trouble with that on Instagram. And I really encourage you to head over to Twitter if you have a Twitter account. I am going to be trying to have more of a presence there because I found that on Twitter there's very little censorship, and I want to be putting my content in a place where I know that the most people can find it. So if you have a Twitter account, would you please head over and follow me on Twitter. Do you feel alone in homeschooling from time to time? I know I felt that way in our 13 years of homeschooling. It's not easy to take the road less traveled. And sometimes you can feel alone. As a homeschool mom, we're often in the kitchen making meals. We're, spending a lot of time with our kids. And so we really just crave adult time sometimes, especially if you have little ones. Young children can be very exhausting, and you can easily feel like you are just with children all the time, and it can feel lonely. Maybe you're the only one in your family who is homeschooling, and so, people, your family members may question you or just be a little uncertain about what you're doing. Maybe they haven't seen other homeschoolers, and it can be hard, if there are nieces and nephews, for example, that are going to the public school and everything you do is compared to them. Maybe you're alone in your neighborhood. I know we go outside and we'll go for a walk, and it's a ghost town. Our neighborhood is a ghost town, and it actually makes me sad sometimes because I just imagine what would it be like if kids were home more, if we would just see kids during the day. And when everybody comes home for summer break and we are outside and all the kids are home, I just love to see it. It's great to see kids outside. If you hear a lot of screaming, my kids are all in the pool right now, so hopefully that's not too distracting. Maybe you feel alone in your church where, you might be the only homeschooler, or maybe people are kind of ignorant about homeschooling, not aware of how much it's growing, how good it is. Maybe they haven't seen a lot of homeschoolers, and everything kind of operates from the default public school system where, you feel like as a homeschooler, you really don't matter. It may make you feel alone when you sometimes hear patronizing comments from people who say, "Good for you. You go do that. That's really great." but you know they don't really mean it. And you know they would never choose it for themselves, and if they have adult children, they wouldn't want their adult children to do that. And that can sometimes be hurtful and just make you feel even more isolated. Maybe as a homeschool mom, you feel isolated sometimes even just within your circle of other homeschool mom friends, where you know you're doing a style of homeschooling that is different, or you're using a curriculum that no one else is using. Maybe you have a child that is really struggling and you're trying to find solutions and ways to help them, but it's just different from what everyone else is experiencing. Maybe as a homeschool mom, it's hard for you to be out of the corporate world and to have left your career behind, to not have a title anymore. When you get to family gatherings and people are talking and they're throwing around their professional words, you know, from work, and you can just feel like you are not doing something that's worthy or important, because truthfully, it's not really valued in our culture to spend time raising children. Sometimes I have felt as a homeschool mom that you can be doing something that is really great, that you know is the best thing for your kids, for your family, but because it's not part of the mainstream of what everyone else is doing, people question it. And the opposite is also true. You can do what everyone else is doing, send your kids to public school, even if it's really bad, and no one questions you. It's not easy to do something that is different, to step out of the box, to take that step of faith and do what you feel the Lord has called you to do and what is good for your family and your kids. As a homeschool mom, no one is giving you accolades, and especially if you don't have the support of family and friends, you may never hear that you're doing a good job. You may never hear that what you're doing is making a big difference. I want to give you just a couple tips that have helped me, and then I want to share some positive, encouraging things that I hope will remind you that you are not alone. The first tip is, don't wait for others to find you. You take the initiative, you schedule the play date, you reach out and talk to other people. If you're homeschooling, you absolutely have to find other people who are doing the same thing as you are, because you need the encouragement. You need just that group of friends that you can connect with and talk to and help each other. When you're a homeschooler, you often have to forge your own way, and no, it's not easy. But we've all done it, we've all been there, and it will be worth it when you step out, you take the initiative, and don't wait for people to come to you. Find a co-op. Or if you're not in a co-op, if you haven't found one, start one yourself. Don't be afraid to step out and start a co-op yourself. Our co-op, which is now established and running itself, it was started several years ago by just 5 of us moms who got together every week in each other's homes, and that was a great place to start. Anybody can do that. You can do that. The second tip is to feed your mind with content that is encouraging. So if you're going to be on the internet, find some homeschool blogs, read homeschool books, find people that are writing. Go visit Our Life Homeschooling. I've written tons of posts that hopefully will encourage you. Every time I do a video, I almost always have a correlating post. So if you head over to the blog, you can find a post that goes along with this video. And I am sharing some of my favorite homeschool bloggers and also some new homeschool bloggers that are great places for you to find someone that just is your style or your person. If you're on social media, find groups of homeschoolers. I think it's best to have actual homeschoolers that you see, people in your community, in your co-op, in your church, to really connect with them. But if you don't have a lot of that support, find it online. When you're on there, you will see that you'll just see how much homeschooling is growing, what a big community it is, and that will help you just see things from a completely different perspective. The third tip is to find a hobby. This is a mistake that I made as a new homeschooler. Homeschooling can be all-consuming. I mean, you can be spending way too much time on it. You can be spending a lot of your day on it. You don't need to. But your kids are always there. I don't know how your kids are, but my kids, it's like as soon as I walk in the room, they think that they're supposed to ask me questions. I'm a sounding board, and as long as I am present, they I can have 3 of them talking to me at the same time, and they all think that I am listening and engaging in them. So I don't know if your kids are like that, but we have that here. And it's really good to just step away for a little bit and have something that you do that you enjoy, that's not a part of homeschooling and not a part of being with your kids. That time away will really help you appreciate your kids and will help you feel like you have other outlets and other avenues of interest, and will help you feel less lonely. I want to encourage you that you are not alone. The number of homeschoolers continues to rapidly increase. We saw this before COVID, but then of course when COVID happened, it just exploded and it continues to rise. More and more parents are aware of what their kids are being taught in school, and it's concerning to them, and they have made the decision to pull out, to bring their kids home, and to really strengthen that family bond and to teach them at home. Homeschooling is growing exponentially. I encourage you to just do a simple Google search. You can find actual numbers on HSLDA. Homeschooling is thriving, and I think it's really the wave of the future. You are also not alone, because the Lord has promised, I will be with you. I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. So if you're doing something that you know God has called you to, you know it aligns with His word, it's something you and your husband agree on for the most part, it's something that's good for your family, it's going to give you more time with your kids. If you're doing something that is allowing you to have more freedom to teach from a biblical worldview, then don't doubt yourself. The promise from the scriptures, I will be with you, should sustain you through any moments where you feel lonely. If God is on your side, you are a majority. You may feel like there's nobody else out there some days, like it's just you and the kids in the kitchen. I know how that feels, but you are a majority. You're doing what God has called you to do. Your investment is not only one that is affecting the here and now. It's not only giving your kids a better future. It's an investment that is eternal. Your children are eternal souls. So don't be discouraged. Be encouraged knowing that there are lots of other homeschool moms out there that are doing the same thing, that you are part of something that's exciting, that is growing, and that is good for your kids. Have a great day. See you next week.